Oi oi, you're here because you don't want to commit one of the 10 big mistakes that lots of people do when they're trying to sell their car. So if you want to be like Mike Brewer and do the hold out your hand, yes, to a prospective buyer sooner rather than later, then watch all these tips. Hold out your hand. So mistake number one, and I see lots of people doing this, it's overvaluing the car. You need to value your car realistically if you want it to sell. Now the way in which you can do this is have a look on the big advertisement platforms, eBay, PistonHeads, AutoTrader, find a couple of cars similar to yours, and by that I mean similar specification, similar age, similar mileage, similar condition. Find a couple of them and take the average price from them. Now avoid dealership cars. People make this mistake as well. They think they'll get the same value for their car selling it privately as they will a dealership selling it. Now remember, dealerships need to charge a markup, they've got tax to pay, VAT, they need to provide a warranty. There's lots of reasons as to why dealerships can charge more. So tip number one, make sure you value the car correctly.
Do you know what? I think you're just asking a little bit too much money for it, Janet.
Mistake number two, and I see lots of people committing this one, god awful photos in the advert. I mean, come on, there's no excuse. You don't need a brilliant photographer or unbelievably expensive camera gear. Most of us have got a phone that's perfectly capable of taking some pretty good photographs. Now, unlike me, make sure your car's nice and clean, and also the background, similar to what we have here. Nice, simple, clean looking. It makes a big difference. Don't picture it in some manky looking estate. So get the car looking good, get it in a nice area, and snap some photos. I'm going to add some now of the R8 that I recently sold, and by all means these aren't fantastic photos, but the car looks good and it's in a nice clean area. Do the same. One added tip on the photos, if you've got a scuff or a scratch or a bit of damage on the car, take a photo of it. A lot of sellers think this is going to put people off the sale, but in all honesty, 9 out of 10 buyers will appreciate the honesty and being able to see the damage up front. That leads us into point 3.
And welcome to my office. We're in here, change of location, because it's a bit easier to show you this next mistake by covering an example. What we're talking about here is description. It's no good having great photos, a great looking car at a great price if your description completely sucks. So we're going to cover an example. Now everyone's going to have their own way of doing this, their own style. This is the way that works for me. If it works for you, feel free to steal it. So let's have a look. Right away, why is it being sold? I fancy something different. Doesn't need to be any more complex than that. Then immediately into the highlight reel. And what are we covering in the highlight reel? Mileage, what sort of history has it got, and plus points about the car. So in my R8's case, it was a rare paint colour, it had a special exhaust on it, it had a clean MOT recently. So these are all the points that you're going to want to list right away in the ad. Then service history, particularly if your car's got a strong service history, get it in the ad. Next up, standard features. So what has the car got? What's included with it? What optional features has the car got? List it all out, let them see all the perks of buying your car over another car. Couple of lines on what the condition of the car is like, and be honest here. Sellers are often dishonest, or they'll cover up bad points about the car. Listen, every car's got bad points. It's just a question of if the buyer has disclosed them or not. So if you've got a nasty scuff, a scrape, whatever, make sure you add it here. And as I said before, ideally include a photo of it. Make sure you look really honest, really upfront about the car's condition. You're not hiding anything, which is every buyer's biggest fear. And then finally, extras. Have you added anything to the car? Now, modifications generally don't help sales very much. Quality modifications, well accepted modifications on a specific type of car can be okay. And I'll list these as extras right at the end of the ad. And you'll notice here, I've also made a point of saying the original parts are still available. And it's that simple. It doesn't need to be any longer than that. We don't need War and Peace, but equally, we don't want a 1 or 2 line description with no real details about the car. That's a big mistake.
So we've got a good description, we've got some good photos. Now, where do we advertise the car for sale? Now this is going to be down to personal preference, to be completely honest. I can tell you how I approach it, and I tend to have good results with this. I base it on the value of the car. So if it's a slightly cheaper, lower budget car, I'll look at things like Gumtree or even Facebook Marketplace. These free advertisement sites tend to attract the kind of buyers that you're looking for on more of a budget car. If it's a slightly more expensive car, certainly a more premium car, then you want to be looking at the likes of Auto Trader, Piston Heads, and even eBay can be pretty good as well. But as I say, it's going to be up to you. Mistake number 5, or is it 6? Could be 5 or 6. We'll put it on screen either way. And that mistake is not being patient enough. Did you know it takes on average 28 days for a car to sell? That's from Auto Trader. I didn't know that either. So once you got the good photos, good description, I'm afraid you just need to sit tight and allow the phone to ring. Hello? Yeah, car's still available. Yeah, it's all in good condition. Yeah. Yeah, they drive pretty good. Yeah, they do. Oh, you had one when you were 18, did you? Oh, great.
Mistake number 6 is not sorting the tyre kickers from the genuine buyers. God love them, car enthusiasts will call you up, some of them, and want to talk about the car you've got for sale with no real intention of buying it. Weirdly, they'll tend to talk about one that they used to own. That's strangely common. You need to get good at sorting these guys from the real buyers, because at the end of the day, you're trying to sell a car. So a real genuine buyer, how do we spot them? Well, they'll tend to call up and ask quite specific questions about the car. Maybe about the bodywork, maybe about the service history, maybe the tyres, the brakes and so on. And something else that a genuine buyer will do is they will set up a viewing quite quickly, because obviously they're worried that you're going to sell the car to someone else. And that leads us on to mistake number 7. So this next mistake is kind of common sense, but you do still hear of it happening rather terrifyingly. And that is when you're arranging a place to meet the buyer to view the car, don't agree to somewhere that's secluded or there's not going to be many people around or late at night or anything weird like that. A genuine buyer is going to be happy to come to a place of your choosing at a time that you've arranged. If you're nervous and it's your first time doing this kind of thing, maybe even have a friend with you. No genuine buyer is going to have a problem with that. And the other thing I've heard of is buyers trying to stipulate where you've to bring the car to let them get a look at it. Absolutely not. That's not the way that it works, and as I say, a genuine buyer is going to be happy to come and meet you wherever you want to meet.
So that prospective buyer's turned up, they've inspected the car, they're happy with it. More importantly, you're happy with them. Chances are they're going to want a test drive, and they're probably going to want to drive the car as well, and that's totally understandable. I would never suggest buying a car without test driving it yourself. The big red herring here, the big problem that loads of people overlook is insurance. Quite often people will take cars on test drives that they are not insured for. So you need to see their insurance up front, and if they don't have it, then I'm afraid they're going to need to go off and get it before they test drive your pride and joy.
Mistake number 9, and this is a biggie. Make sure you don't make mistakes in this category, as many people do, and that is taking payment. Now, when selling a car privately, there's probably going to be only 2 methods of payment, and that is either a bank transfer or cash. Let's start with the latter because there are some risks in the cash category. What happens if some of those notes are fake? What happens if all of those notes are fake? So, if you're selling a car of any real value and the seller wants to pay in cash, they're adamant about paying in cash, then what to do is do the viewing on the car, make sure they're happy with it, make sure you're happy with them, and then say, right, we're going to go to the bank, I'll take that money from you and I'll deposit it straight into my account. What the bank's going to do is they're going to check each of those notes as they take them off him or her, and it means the money is straight into your account. There's practically no risk with doing it this way. The only problem you've got there is you need to do it in the bank's opening hours. So the other form of payment, bank transfer, which is probably going to be most common, particularly for larger values. A lot of people think this is a bulletproof method of payment, and it is, so long as the money actually goes into the bank. I wrote about a scam recently wherein people were using a fake app on their phone, and what they would do is plug in a number. They could then show the seller, look, I've sent the money, it's on its way. but it was a fake app. There was no money going anywhere. The number one rule when accepting a bank transfer for a car is no money, no car. And what I mean by that is you want to have the cleared funds in your account before the car goes anywhere. I once sold a car to a very respectable garage, and I'm sure they weren't up to anything dodgy, but they sent the money across. They said to me, okay, right, well, the money will be with you within 24 hours. I said, that's fine. You can collect the car after 24 hours once the money's in. They weren't too happy about that, but honestly, I think that's the right thing to do. Let me know in the comments below if that's what you would have done as well. To me, no money, no car. It's that simple. Before we get on to mistake number 10, here's a service that might well help you sell your car. Vehicle Score. Put your plate into this website and purchase one of their paid HPI reports. I'll put a 15% discount voucher in the description below. What's really good about this is on Vehicle Score, when you're selling a car, you can share that report to prospective buyers. So it's just a little extra that they'll have to give them peace of mind that your car is the one for them. And finally, mistake number 10. The deal is done, you just need to sign the car over to that seller and they can drive off into the sunset, the money's in your bank, everyone's happy. But this is where the final mistake can catch you, and that is not signing the car over to the seller quick enough. Remember, once that seller drives away with the car, it's still in your name. Any speeding tickets, parking fines, anything like that is going to land on your doorstep. So make sure you transfer the car right away. And the best way to do this is online. Now, bear in mind this service is only available between 7 AM and 7 PM. So if you do the deal within those hours, you're going to need to if you're going to pay cash into the bank anyway. It means the car is instantly in their name and any fines they're going to pick up are happily theirs. And there you go, you've just sold your car. Mike Brewer would be well and truly proud of you. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please do hit like, hit subscribe if you want to see more, and always remember, leave your thoughts in the comments section below. I'll see you for the next one.